Members present, please come forward, take your seats. Let's reestablish a quorum, see if we can get out of here Wednesday night. We took a break on Article 15. We're going to be returning on Article 16 of the special once we reestablish this quorum. Okay, here we go. Let's reestablish the quorum. All town meeting members present, please rise and the tellers return a quorum count. I didn't even get anything to drink. I didn't even get anything to drink. People started running up with all their questions. Oh, I know. Took a break. I didn't even get a glass of water. In the first division, Mrs. Taschereau, 47. In the third division, Mr. Hampson, 62. And in the second division, Mr. Dufresne, 88. By a count of vote of 197, we have a quorum, and the special town meeting is back in session. Article 16, the recommendation of the Finance Committee is indefinite postponement. This is to appropriate a sum of money to install communications equipment at Falmouth High School to improve emergency communications. Is there any positive motion on Article 16? Hearing none, the chair would entertain the main motion from the chairman of the Finance Committee.
I move Article 16 as recommended.
As recommended, which is indefinite postponement. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 17. Mr. Chairman.
I move Article 17 as recommended.
As recommended, this is to vote to transfer the sum of $40,000 from the Waterways Reserve Fund to purchase and install 2 outboard engines for the Harbor Master's 27-foot Boston whaler. Any discussion on Article 17? Yep. Mr. Tecci? Oh, with the microphone, please. With the microphone, please.
Bernie Stetcher, Precinct 3. Sorry about that. I just wonder, it seems like the problem is that there was a leak, and I'm just wondering if routine maintenance would have picked that up. I'm not trying to lay blame on anybody, but just wondering if perhaps this thing could have been caught in time before it ruined the engine.
Mr. Frazier? Yep. He's coming down the aisle behind you there.
Greg Fraser, Harbor Master. We found out about this problem beginning of last season. We do have the engines serviced on a very regular basis. This issue came up early last season. We had the engine looked at by the mechanic we normally use and a other mechanic at Atlantic Boats, both of which recommended that the boat not be used except for emergencies, and we're talking about the primary patrol boat. So it did sit at the dock a lot last year, and the explanation as was given to us basically is that there's corrosion inside the engine caused by salt water. It's making the mounts move, which is putting pressure on the seals inside, but it's a very expensive job because you have to tear the power head out to get at the problem, and neither mechanic recommended that given the age and the fact that they were up for replacement last year. It was much more cost effective to move forward with replacing them, trading them in, and then starting off with a new engine.
Okay. Further discussion on Article 17? Hearing none, then the question will come on the main motion as recommended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 18, Mr. Chairman.
I move Article 18 as recommended.
As recommended, this is to vote to transfer the sum of $40,000 from certified free cash for the contract for ongoing engineering and consulting services at the Department of Public Works facility on Gifford Street, the Senior Center on Dillingham Ave, and Chamber of Commerce Building on Academy Lane for groundwater monitoring, inspections, and reporting as required by the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection. Any discussion on Article 18? Hearing none, then the question will come on the main motion as recommended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 19, Mr. Chairman.
I move Article 19 as recommended.
As recommended, this is a vote to transfer the sum of $36,372 from the Waterways Reserve Fund to fund the debt payments due during fiscal year 2012 for the Town Marina project authorized by Article 16 of the April 5th, 2010 annual town meeting. Any discussion on Article 19? Hearing none, then the question will come on the main motion as recommended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 20. This is a Community Preservation Committee article. Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Moderator, Peter Clark, Precinct 1, Chairman. I move Article 20 as recommended.
As recommended, this is a vote to appropriate the sum of $40,000 from the Community Preservation Fund estimated receipts for open space recreation for beach nourishment to preserve and protect the L&T Mitchell building and abutting dunes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, then the question will come on the main motion as recommended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 21, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Moderator, I move Article 21 as recommended.
As recommended, this is a vote to appropriate the sum of $136,424 from the Community Preservation Fund for Historic Preservation, $49,697 from estimated receipts, and $86,727 from Historic Resources Reserves for the exterior restoration of the Wacoit Congregational Church. Any discussion on Article 21? Hearing none, then the question will come on the main motion as recommended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it by a majority. Article 22, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Moderator, I ask your permission to show us an information slide for just a second. That would be number 16, Bob. I want town meeting members and the community at large to know that we're going through annual processes. I'd like to call your attention to the fact that on April 5, there'll be an information workshop at 4:30 in the Selectmen's Conference Room for anyone interested in applications for the November town meeting. Those applications will be due June 11, so people who are interested in those applications should come to that meeting or see the Community Preservation Planner for an application and consultation. We also hold an annual hearing on the needs and resources in the community. That hearing has been advertised and will be held as part of the April 12 meeting at 7 o'clock at School Administration Building. We welcome you to come and tell us what you feel are the needs and resources. And finally, we have been designing a town-wide survey. Unfortunately, it wasn't ready to give to you tonight, and perhaps we have to go to redesign it a little bit and look at the questions that we have there. But we will be putting that out within the next couple of weeks. It'll be available. We'll post how to get to that survey and try to circulate it. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I would move Article 23 as recommended.
22?
22, excuse me.
22. This is to vote to appropriate the sum of $400,000 for community housing, $219,211 from estimated receipts, and $180,789 from the Community Housing Reserve Account to support the engineering and construction of the sewer extension and related pump station on Spring Bars Road for proposed community housing. Any discussion on Article 22? Yep, Mr. McNamara, and then Mr. Scher.
Matt McNamara, Precinct 7. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I just have several questions. I just gave Peter a copy of them so that we can move this along, and I'll read them quickly. In 2005, the town denied a sewer connection to the Little Pond Landing affordable housing project on the same site. Why has the town changed its position? 2, how does this extension and pump station fit into the comprehensive wastewater management plan? 3, has the pump station been designed to serve this project only, or will it also serve Mara Vista? 4, how is the amount of $400,000 calculated and by whom? 5, who will build the extension and pump station, the town or the developer? And 6, will the extension and pump station be built prior to project construction? If so, what happens if the housing project is never built? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. McNamara. Those are important questions. The town supported this. We went to the Board of Selectmen. We had done a study to look at the flow that would come from our development and from the buildings that would have been along that extension were to be built. That study found that it was a reasonably small amount. We took that to the state to see if they would allow it within the plan, which they have done. That's been approved by the state at this time. It has been approved on quite a narrow basis to apply from our property going up to Spring Bars Road and down to 28A, and not for further extension. The pump station being designed, therefore, is, under this article, is just for any future development on the Spring Bars Road property, and not for a further extension than that. The $400,000 was calculated by our having asked and I don't have the name of the firm, Stearns and Wheeler, now GHD. And they have looked at the design and they have provided us with an estimated budget, and this is based on that. The extension would be built by the developer when the developer is selected under the supervision or oversight and to the standards of the town for this project. And as I've just said, it would not be built then until there was a developer selected under an RFP. So the money will be set aside for that project. It is important to have it passed because we believe that for a developer to look at that sensitive area, it is very important to have a process in place and support in place that is absolutely efficient and holds no threat to the wetlands or to Little Pond through the development. That's particularly in light of the history of that site, and it's limited to the 30 units that we have brought to you before.
Okay, Mr. Scherer, and then Mr. Dufresne. Swalmans. Nope, it's on its way down right here. Yep.
Slide 14, Bob.
Well, Dan Scherer, Precinct 6. I only have one question. I know the sewer right now is having some problems with the DEP. They're saying we're putting too much nitrogen it is escaping from it. It's coming in. It will be coming into West Falmouth Harbor in what 7 years. So I would ask that we put this off until that is settled and we see what the DEP is going to allow, because at the moment the suit is saying no more hookups or going into that plant. But that's in court, so I don't know what's going to happen to it, but I'd say I would put this off until next fall or next spring.
Mr. Dufresne.
Adrian Dufresne, Precinct 2. One question, please, to Dr. Clark. In the event that this pump station is built, will the cost incurred for the ongoing maintenance, should the project be built and this sewer project is completed, years from now, whose responsibility is it to maintain it and ensure the residential abutters of this property that there will not be any odor problems or any kind of problems in the future?
The developer, the RFP is to build and maintain the housing on that property. So it becomes part of what we will be looking at in terms of the expertise and history of the developer to make sure that they show us that they either have themselves or can bring to the project the expertise to maintain that.
I didn't hear the last comment, Mr. Clark.
The RFP is to have a developer build and maintain the housing and the wastewater and all other elements of the project. So the town will be looking at the credentials of a developer, that person, that organization itself, or whomever that organization brings to this element of the project. So it's the developer's project, the developer's maintenance.
Okay, one last question. Will the residents of this project also be charged a sewer rate on their water rate?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't expect they will be, no. They're not, this is only for that development. Someone who is better knowledgeable about how hookups might take place and what the legal
Yeah, I think we have an
requirements
answer
are.
on that here. Mr. Timmis.
That should be answered by probably the water main.
He's the sewer man.
With pride. Jerry Thomas, Precinct 2 and wastewater superintendent. To answer your question, everybody that connects into the sewer system has to have metered water. And as an element of conservation, we charge every gallon that people use of their drinking water, we charge them for wastewater. So the answer is if you're connected to the sewer, you pay a sewer fee, and it's based on the water use. To answer a previous question is, the Secretary of Environmental Affairs has approved this project as a modification to the West Falmouth plan. I have discussed this project before, after, and recently with DEP. They wholeheartedly support the 4,000 gallons going in. What litigation may or may not result in is anybody's guess. But I can categorically state right now that the Secretary of Environmental Affairs' signature has said this project for 4,000 gallons is acceptable. I can also clarify that that is only for this project. No one else has a right to tie into this project unless they go through a sewer extension permit. I know some people are saying, what about the mall and this and that? The mall could apply for a sewer extension permit, and it would have to go through the careful planning that the CPC did. The project, in part, was not supported by the town because it was outside the comprehensive wastewater management plan for West Falmouth. The CPC did what they were supposed to do. They checked with the state. They asked the state, how could this be approved at all? The state said, you do a flow study, you come into us, you show that there's adequate capacity, and that's what that study showed. There was more than adequate capacity that was allocated through previous engineering studies and approved by the DEP that this project could go forward. So I hope that answered a bunch of questions.
Okay, Mr. Smolowitz.
Ron Smolowitz, Precinct 8. I'm against this article. I think it's a missed opportunity. This town meeting has urged the town to consider alternative strategies to sewers. What more perfect project than this for alternative sewer technology? And we're not doing it. All we're doing, whenever the opportunity arises, connect up more to the sewer plant. This should be a perfect demonstration project for alternatives to sewers. And it would be a low-cost project. This is affordable housing. Something like composting toilets don't have sewer bills. We would be paying the costs up front for the wastewater strategy for this development. I think that the CPC should examine its two birds with one stone. Besides an affordable housing project, this could be a key demonstration project for alternatives to sewer technology. And I'm wondering how come that hasn't been considered. I asked this at precinct meeting, and this needs to be an alternative strategy right here. This is a perfect opportunity.
Mr. Clark.
The CPC is very aware of the sensitive nature of this environment and of the demands that the state had put on the Little Pond Landing development for zero contribution. And it is rental housing, not ownership housing. So the issue of whether composting toilets as an alternative is the best, that this is the best place to try that alternative, I think was a worry to us. It was a worry in the sense of attracting developers to a project and needing them to know that they were not going to be challenged in any way because of the technology used or the nature of the site. So that's the reason we went to this.
It's always easy to find reasons not to take that extra step. But if we don't start addressing this now, we're all going to be confronting a $600 million to $1 billion cost. We need to start somewhere, and this is an excellent opportunity to start right here. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Putnam. Ms. Putnam. You're on the list, Jude.
Rebecca Putnam, Precinct 9. My family is very much involved with 40B projects and also owning affordable deeded rental properties. And I understand that you're expecting a developer to come in and all 30 units are going to be, are they going to have these standard restrictions on the rental rates? And are you aware of what the rental rates are? Are they 1, 2-bedroom units, 3-bedroom units?
Mr. Chairman.
I can answer that question very clearly. We developed the RFP with the help of the Mass Housing Partnership consultant, so we're very aware of those rates. They all are to be at affordable levels in perpetuity. and we've had that very carefully in mind as we've gone along. But we're moving from a discussion of wastewater treatment to housing at this point. But
I'm sorry, Mr. Moderator. He did not answer my question. If these are two-bedroom rental units, do you know the rate that the restriction is for the rental?
I don't have it at the top of my head, but we studied it carefully as we did the RFPs. And we know that the other issue with the housing is that it cannot be economically feasible without tax credits. And so the ability to get tax credits is a key issue for any developer taking on this project.
Okay, I just want to make town meeting aware of the fact that a two-bedroom unit is capped at $850 per month. It's not like a condominium complex. You have a sewer rate that is not going to be charged to these tenants. So even with tax credits, those are not forever. And I think you're going to have a very hard time finding a developer to come in and to accept paying the sewer rates when you have a cap of $850 per month on a unit for affordability. I really think that town meeting needs to consider these numbers and at this point, vote it down. Thank you.
Mr. Smolowitz? Mr. Swag, I'm sorry. I already.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Ron Swag, Precinct 1. I just want one more little, Ron Swag, Precinct 1. Just one other option on this is that in terms of alternatives, you mentioned composting toilets is one that you had considered, but did you also consider on-site denitrifying systems that might be more cost-effective? In other words, was there a full comparative analysis done of options that are already sanctioned by the state for a site like that? That's the question. Or is it in terms of costs, particularly cost, investment cost, and operating cost? Thanks.
Mr. Chairman.
The quick answer is that we did not do a complete study, but we do know that while building an on-site denitrification system may be less expensive, there is, for the developer, the ongoing issues of operating that plant for the life of the housing, which is a major undertaking. So I don't have a detailed analysis to show you now.
Mr. Wilbur?
Jude Wilbur, Precinct 8. I have to agree with Ron Smolowitz, and again, it's not just because he's my boss. And also Mr. Zweig. I think this is an ideal place to launch into this. I understand Mr. Clark's argument there that he's afraid of balking contractors in this thing. Contractors need jobs, Peter. You know, they're not going to balk at something as minor as an alternative technology that is actually not that alternative anymore. It's fairly standard stuff to put in. So I don't see that has much weight in this argument, that the balking contractors, I see that as a red herring. I also see here that the amount of money is, quote, to support the engineering and construction. To support it to what extent? What's the final cost on this? Is this the final cost, $400,000? I don't read it that way. It's just to support the engineering and construction. To what extent? 10%, 20%, 50%? I do really think that this is the time and the place for Falmouth to jump outside the box, not just think outside the box, jump outside the box.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm looking for corroboration on this, but I believe the $400,000 covers the total cost of that. I think it was $382,000 or $385,000 was our estimate. The other issue that I need to raise is that in our advice relative to composting toilets is that it is not a well enough established practice that tax credits, that they may threaten the tax credit applications. And that's an essential piece of the financing for this project. You can't build them without those tax credits.
Mr. Duffney?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Michael Duffney, Precinct 6. I'm certainly not going to talk against affordable housing because I think we certainly need as much as we can, as we're able to put together here in town. But it does scare me, if you will, that we're going to allow someone else to operate a pump station having already had bad experience with two of that I know of in town where odor were a problem. And if it were, I think that we'd all agree, if it weren't a private developer, and we'd probably still be having problems. The town took care of it because it was the town's pump station over there at Civics Pond and the one up on Palmer Avenue. The only other one that I'm aware of is the one at the high school. There may be one in Woods Hole, but any of the others are, I believe, owned by the town. So I have to commend Ron on asking us to step outside the box. I think it is an ideal time to do so. And you know, I just, this concept does leave me with some trepidation where a private owner is going to, or a developer is going to own this station. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Hayward, and then Mr. Petrick.
Nancy Hayward, Precinct 5. We're getting a little bit, we're talking about paying for a sewer. I do want to address the topic of denitrifying septic systems. Little Pond is one of the estuaries that have been in the Mass Estuaries series of estuaries. This estuary or pond is to have 0 input of nitrogen. As far as I know, there are no denitrifying systems which put out 0 nitrogen. And I would also like to say that I think that the various toilets are new technology. We're having trouble in this town with one other type of new technology. I do want to see a sewer put to this development. And we have an article before us dealing with that. Thank you.
Mr. Petrick.
I'm Matt Patrick, Precinct 7, and I'm on the Water Quality Review Committee, Management Committee. And I just want to clarify one point, that the composting toilets are indeed approved by the state for use in all buildings. They can be put in multi-storied buildings quite readily, and they have toilet commodes that look very conventional. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Lowell?
Vicki Lowell, Precinct 1. I just also am thinking about the gray water, and that has some nitrogen in it, so there'd have to be a system for handling that too.
Mr. Patamas, you had your hand up.
I'll go down there. Jerry Patamas, wastewater superintendent. Compost toilets are indeed legal. They've probably been legal for a while. I'd like to see a show of hands of how many have them in their house. How many would invest in a project which you don't know if anybody else wants them? We do know at a green seminar sponsored by Advocates of Alternatives, which was very informative, we had an international expert come from Australia. They put this to an extensive discussion, and lo and behold, after hearing the pros and cons, they said, we don't want compost toilets. We may say we want them, but it's not an issue, I think, for us to dictate to any builder how they will choose to invest the money. As part of 0 nitrogen, if you remember past, Little Pond Landing was expanded a little bit because to obtain the extra nitrogen that would go into Little Pond, they had to bring in fair trades or fair winds next door. In other words, they had to extend the sewers so the net amount of wastewater going in didn't exceed the total that went in before the development, which means you have to take some other sewers out. I just recently got a report from a very innovative technology that is probably one of the ones we'll be looking at. They could not match what we're doing at the treatment plant now, and that was right up in Mashpee. This is right out of their annual report. They had another project in their annual report that they did almost as good as we did, centralized treatment, and then they had another project that did better. So I will assert right now that although some of these technologies have promise, none of them are tried and true municipal projects that can meet the strict standards for the environmental protection. I think we also have an issue that before the selectmen last week, shell fishing, which is going to aquaculture, which will remove some amount of nitrogen. Even the shellfish people said, we don't know if shellfish can survive. We want to do a test to see if they can survive. After we determine if they survive, we're going to have to determine growth rates and things like that. Personally, I think they will survive and they will help with nitrogen. As far as lift station and pump stations, every private entity that goes into the sewer that doesn't go in by gravity has a lift station. And now let's get our terms correct. We're talking about an E1 station, basically a package plant that's 4,000 gallons a day. Odors come from the fact that you don't pump it out as often as you can. That's not really a maintenance issue, that's a design issue. The design of this treatment plant has in it, because I actually had to go over it today for another reason, an extra pipe so that we can insist that they put in an odor control control system if it becomes a nuisance. And that's only if it becomes a nuisance. Every private property in this town is responsible for maintaining their wastewater system. It doesn't matter whether it's a pump station or a septic system. If they don't operate it, we have laws and regulations. So I think the CPC properly thought this out over 2 or 3 years. There was a lot of debates. There were a lot of, it's cross-pollinated, for lack of a better word, planning board members, conservation commission members, and things like that. We can have this lead into a debate of sewers, but it shouldn't lead into a debate of sewers. I will assert that if someone might be able to do something cheaper, they may not be able to do it better, and they may not be able to do it based on the permitting that we know that they might have to go through. Thank you.
Mr. Dick?
One rarely gets up in town meeting and talks about personal experience with commodes, but we have a place out in Oregon that has a composting toilet that is absolutely horrible, and I just get nightmares when I think about a composting toilets being installed in a development. Until a summer and a half ago, when I got out there and landed on state park land, and had to use a facility which was just as nice and clean and easy to deal with as the toilet in my house. Composting toilets have come a very long way, and I think that to say otherwise is disingenuous. Thank you.
Ms. Lichtenstein?
Leslie Lichtenstein, Precinct 8. I think maybe it's time for the town of Falmouth to put its money where its mouth is. A few years ago, when we built our first sewage treatment plant, we did sand filtration beds just like the rest of the world, but we also did a spray irrigation. It was innovative, and it was the first one in the state. How can we expect private people to put these things in their homes and private developers to come in if the town doesn't take the lead and require, or at least ask some people to do this?
Mr. Neto? You're on the list.
Thank you, Joe Neto, Precinct 9. I stand just to give comment on some other comments that were made about composting toilets, and I want to reiterate what Mr. Dick said. Some people seem to think that they're new. If you travel southbound on Route 95 and leave New Hampshire and come back to the glorious state of Massachusetts, and stop at the state-run rest stop there, for over 20 years there's been a composting toilet there that I've stopped there more than 20 years. And I've stopped there just about every time I leave my house in Maine. On top of that house, that place, you see photovoltaic cells and solar hot water. And that's the state of Massachusetts rest area. So when someone can tell me that the state doesn't believe in composting toilets or they're new, I wonder where I've been stopping the last 20 years. Secondly, if you go to any ski area, getting rid of wastewater on a mountain is a major problem. Almost every ski place I've been to between here and Colorado has waterless urinals and composting toilets. I think it's time for us to take the lead and we always want somebody to do something. Well, this is a great opportunity. And the discussion is starting to get into those alternatives. Yeah, it's Mr. Patamus, it is a sewer question. The big pipe versus the alternatives. And I guess I'm an alternative person. And I think that this is an excellent opportunity to show if this technology works. And last, a question that I don't think has been answered, and I'm really confused on Mr. Dufresne's question, the answer by Mr. Patamus, and then the comments by Mrs. Putnam. Who is going to pay the water bill and the sewer? Mr. Patamus told me the person using it. Mrs. Putnam has told us, and she's well adapted this is her business, and I believe her, that the rent is capped at $850. So therefore, I guess I'm paying the sewer bill. I think that's the answer that Mr. Dufresne was looking for. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, do you want to address that?
The management company pays the bill. It's a rental development. It's not a home ownership development. The issue of whether the finances will work out is one that we will learn when we put out an RFP and see whether there are developers who feel they can make it work. I do want to stress also, separately from that argument, that the Community Preservation Committee has drafted an RFP that attempts to be very demanding in terms of energy and other kinds of low-impact landscaping and other kinds of things. We don't intend this to be a standard affordable housing development or a housing development at all. We are looking to be innovative in lots of ways, but we have not chosen to be innovative in this way because we felt it was the clearest, cleanest way for a developer to approach the project.
Ms. Poole?
Thank you. Diane Poole, Precinct 9. I'm just curious if you have a private developer responsible for the pumping station, what happens if they go out of business? Who takes over?
That issue is one that the town does not have to take over, but has to manage the sequence of ownership in that situation. I would turn more to Mr. I guess, Town Council to talk about the details of how that gets handled. But it is not envisioned that the town ends up running that project.
Mr. Wilbur?
Jude Brewer, Precinct 8. This is something I'm going to mention again and again on various issues in this town. Falmouth needs to start to think of itself as experiment Falmouth. Experiment Falmouth. We are running up against here with a strict EPA zero tolerance policy. Well, we want to run an experiment, Mr. EPA, and see what happens with this new technology at its highest grade. It's an experiment. We don't know if we can do it or not unless somebody does it. So I find it very frustrating in these discussions where we run up against some sort of a mandate from somewhere that says you absolutely have to do this, that prevents us from doing anything else. And I think this town needs to challenge those mandates on every issue where we can serve to be a leader.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes, Mr. Moderator, through you to Mr. Patamas. Question, did I hear you right tonight saying that no one else would be tying into this sewer main extension? And if so, how does that violate the town sewering bylaw, which, if I'm not mistaken, mandates anyone who is on a sewer main that they tie into that sewer main? If you remember, folks, we had the same situation happen at the Fly-In Bridge. We brought the main down that road on Scranton Avenue. The developer of the Ward condominium project sought and gained the opportunity to tie into that main. We had no intention of allowing that, but in fact we had a sewer bylaw. So my question is, are we going to allow those folks that we go by to tie into it, in how much more capacity? Keeping in mind that if it goes by, folks, it might actually be touching the land of the Falmouth Mall. Question.
Mr. Davis.
Defer to town council, but I'll use my better judgment. The state has to approve all future tie-ins. If you've been following the permit development, long gone are the days that we're going to act on our own with a permitted groundwater facility, no matter where it is. We might have a bylaw. The state might trump it and say, you can't tie in if you don't have your act together. So I don't know what the answer is. You're absolutely right. I've had this discussion before. All I answered the question was that the CPC got and received permission for allowing them to tie in. Is there capacity for the remainder half dozen houses in a small development? Of course. It wouldn't be a good municipal project. Is the pipe oversized? No, it isn't. You have to understand how pipes are sized and things like that. So the question could come back to the Board of Selectmen whether they want to do battle with the state over an NPDS permit if the state's a groundwater permit, if the state says you can connect in, but you connect in at potential of violating a groundwater permit. So yes, we have a bylaw that I will respect and do what you guys direct me to, but it's not my decision. It will be other people that will say, allow this or not allow it. Did I answer your question, Mr. Murphy?
Okay, Mr. Donahue. Let's tighten up our comments here, because this list is getting long and I want to do the budget tonight.
Okay.
Okay? We are going to do the budget tonight. Mr. Donahue?
Pick on me. My question is this, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is going to be a rental, low-income housing development. So that means that the rents are going to be controlled by who controls low rent. Now, if this developer gets into trouble, he's going to come to the town and say, I cannot maintain this sewer pumping station, and we are going to be stuck with it, I think. My point is, why don't we take it on from the very beginning and stop fooling around? If we're taking $400,000 out of CPA to build this thing, if it needs another $100,000 to make it so that in the future we can connect to the other houses down that street and maybe even connect into Mara Vista, I think this would be the time to do it. Let's look long-sighted, not short-sighted. I don't know if this would mean that the project would come into some other classification, but it's too risky to me to have some guy who could go bankrupt, he could have other problems, and then we would wind up being, I think, the fall guy and have to pay the bill in the end. Thank you very much.
Okay. Mr. Herbst?
Ralph Herbst, Precinct 8, Planning Board Representative to the CPC. This situation, I think Mr. Clark pointed out correctly, won't even go forward if the developer's unable to get tax credits because you use alternative wastewater systems. So you shoot it down. But let's say that he can. So I'd like to ask the advocates of alternative systems to provide the CPC with a list of 30 families that qualify for affordable housing that are willing to move into this development with alternative systems. If you can do that for us, I understand the county of Barnstable has offered a cash incentive, and they've had no takers, the entire county. Go ahead and provide us with that list, because you think that the CPC is going to develop a multi-million-dollar project with alternative wastewater systems, and we can't rent them, then who's going to be stuck with it?
Okay. Anything new? Ms. Valiola? Something new? I think the issues are on the table here, so we're...
Right. A question and a comment. The question is, Peter, is this a pressure main or is this a gravity main from the property to the connection on Davis Straits?
There needs to be a pump to go up to Spring Bars Road, and then it's a gravity feed from there down. So Mr. Protamus may have to give you the specifics of that, but it does require pumping up to Spring Bars Road. And I don't know what that elevation is exactly.
Okay. I was told by the engineer for the previous Little Pond development that it was possible to connect from that property to Davis Straits with a gravity main, no pump station, which would remove a lot of the concerns that you heard tonight. Was that discussed with the developers?
Yes, with the designer. The designer looked carefully at that, and their decision was that it couldn't be done that way. It would require, and I'm not sure whether physically Spring Bars Road is above Davis Straits, but it would require such a deep trench going through that area that I think, at least for that reason, it was considered not feasible to do.
All right. And then my other question is, if this decision is made in the fall instead of now, how does that affect your schedule and your planning, and are there any drop-dead dates between now and the fall that would seriously affect the project?
Well, we expect to be discussing a draft RFP with the Board of Selectmen this coming Monday. And it then needs to move forward in a way that we hope we can get that advertised and get responses to it before the November town meeting. It would be then a whole process of selection and negotiation that goes beyond that. So it would be, I think, very helpful to have this piece of the total project in place so that it's a known as the RFP goes forward.
Mr. Protamus?
Yes.
Or something like that. We did look at, in fact, the previous engineer did look at a gravity, and you had to, basically, you said it had to go so deep that it was not a good recommended way of doing it for the piece of property. We also looked at what's the likelihood, if we ever got to Mara Vista, would a sewer come down Mara Vista? And the answer to that was probably no, because just about in front of the mall is a low point, and that it's highly unlikely that if we get to Mara Vista, would we come down that way. So what was engineered was pretty reasonable. Whether the mall can tie in is an entirely different legal question. I don't know if it abuts it or whether it's within the 100 feet, but the state would have to approve it, and it could change the design. And they would have to pay for the extension of the sewer and all the connections to get to it. And I know I have discussed that with the designer that represents the mall. I laid it out to him. I says, I'd be glad to discuss with you what I think your options are. They never came back to me.
Okay. Mr. Pinto? We have a motion to move the previous question. It's to close discussion. All those in favor of closing discussion on this article signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it by the 2/3 majority, and the discussion is closed. The question will now come on Article 22, the main motion as recommended by the Community Preservation Committee. All those in favor of Article 22 signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. No. All those in favor signify by standing, and the tellers a return account. In the first division, Mrs. Taschereau. 16. In the third division, Mr. Hampson. 32. In the second division, Mr. Dufresne. 43. All those opposed signify by standing, and the tellers return account. In the first division, Mrs. Taschereau. 32. The second division, Mr. Dufresne. 45. In the third division, Mr. Hampson. 30. 107. By a counted vote of 91 in favor and 107 opposed, the article does not pass. Mr. Chairman?
Moderator, we are required by law to spend 10% in the area of housing. This money needs to be put into the housing reserve account for future use so that we meet that legal 10%, since it did not pass in this article.
Okay.
Would you like me to make a motion or?
Yep. So you can make a main motion under this article.
I move that the town vote to transfer the sum of $400,000 to the Community Preservation Community Housing Reserve.
Okay, you've all heard another main motion to put the money that we were going to use for this article into the reserve. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Oh, you have a question? You have a question? Yeah. You have a question? Get up and ask it. Come on down with the microphone, or use that one.
The article only, this is Gardner Lewis, Precinct 6, the article only asked for 219, 211 from, well, that's...
Speak into the mic.
I am. The article only asked for $219,211 from the estimated receipts. The rest is already in the reserve account.
And $180,789 from the Community Housing Reserve. So Peter, it's 219, 211 into the reserve?
219, 211 is from estimated receipts. The 187.89 needs to go back into the housing reserve. So
No, you didn't take it out.
Well,
okay.
Fine.
So the main motion is to move $219,211 into the Community Housing Reserve.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any further discussion on Article 22? Hearing none, the question will come on the main motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 23, the Board of Selectmen for a main motion.
Mr. Moderator, I move Article 23 as printed.
As printed, this is to accept the doings of the Board of Selectmen with laying out 4 roads. Any discussion on Article 23? Mr. Wilbur?
5 minutes to
Mr.
go.
Hampson?
I
Move we go after
suggest
11?
we-
Okay.
I
The
make
motion
a
to extend after 11 o'clock. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. We're going to see you tomorrow night and Thursday night. This meeting is adjourned. We'll come back on Article. Well, actually, let's see if we can get this one. Whoa, hold on. Let's see if we can finish this in the 5 minutes. If not, we'll adjourn at 11. Mr. Wilbur?
I'll be very brief on this. I only want to point out that when a town takes roads, it's always been said there's 100% betterment assessed to the lands of the people along the road that receives the benefits. I also want to point out that over the last decade, the town has taken hundreds of miles of roads, and all those roads, after the 100% betterment is paid, belong to us and belong to the Department of Public Works. And I'm not saying that it's not a good idea to take these roads and bring them up to standards. I'm just saying to realize that when the Department of Public Works is asking for increases in budget to do basic services, a lot of it has come through the taking of roads, where the initial betterment was paid, but the ongoing maintenance of these roads is no longer is a part of our task. Thank you.
Any further discussion on Article 23? Hearing none, the question will then come on the main motion, Article 23, as recommended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 24, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Moderator, I move that all articles approved at this town meeting be funded as voted for a total of $1,104,434.87.
Okay, you've all heard the main motion to fund this meeting for $1,104,434.87. Any discussion on the main motion? Hearing none, the question will come. All in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Unanimous, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Moderator, I move the April 2012 special town meeting be closed.
You've all heard the main motion to dissolve this meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Unanimous. This meeting is adjourned. We'll see you tomorrow night for the annual at 7.
Community Television presents Falmouth Town Meeting, Spring 2012. FCTV's live gavel-to-gavel coverage of Falmouth Town Meeting is made possible through the generous contributions of the following corporate sponsors.
Hi, I'm Pat Thatcher.
I'm Margaret Gifford. We work for the global real estate company Sotheby's International Realty.
Margaret, how long have you been in real estate?
About 200 years. How about you?
Coming up on it. What is the real estate market like right now, Margaret?
Well, interest rates are very favorable. There's great inventory, and it is a good time for buyer and sellers.
And you know, Falmouth is so wonderful. Not only is it a beautiful place, but there are so many outdoor activities, cultural events, and opportunities to volunteer.
Isn't Falmouth great?
Nestled in a classic New England setting amid 200-year-old elm trees and charming colonial homes, stately sea captains' homes, and charming Cape Cod salt boxes, Shoreway Acres is a graceful blend of Cape Cod's past and present. Shoreway Acres, proud sponsor of Falmouth Community Television.
Landucci Italia, 824 Main Street, Falmouth. Mangia.
Founder Abraham Penn taught a valuable lesson that has been part of a tradition since 1919 when he said, I'd rather make a friend than make a sale. For more than 90 years, Puritan has been making friends as a unique family-owned company right here in Cape Cod. At Puritan Cape Cod on 199 Main Street, as well as Chatham, Mashpee, and Hyannis, you'll find the latest in men's and women's clothing, as well as ski and tennis equipment, and much more. Puritan Cape Cod, 548-0116, or PuritanCapeCod.com.
Welcome to Falmouth. If you're a visitor, this is where surf and sun meet for fun. If you're a resident, this is where you'll find the businesses and the resources necessary to fill all of your needs. If you're a business person, this can be your home. Join with other men and women who work together to make this a sustainable economy year-round. Welcome to Falmouth, Cape Cod.
Green Harbor Waterfront Lodging is nestled in a woodland setting on a picturesque ocean inlet. Green Harbor offers so much for a fun-filled yet affordable family waterfront vacation. Enjoy our private boating beach with ramp and dock, free rowboats and paddle boats, oversized heated outdoor pool and kiddie pool. You'll enjoy our attractive waterfront and beachside accommodations. So visit us online at gogreenharbor.com.
Remember, WC Communications is your printing team. We are calm and cool under pressure. You can call us at 508-563-7366 or toll free at 1-800-696-7303.
Internet services provided by Cape.com Incorporated. Established in 1994, Cape.com is the only locally owned and operated internet service provider on Cape Cod. Our specialties include e-commerce applications and design, wide area networking services, and high-speed DSL internet access throughout eastern Massachusetts. Cape.com continues to lead the way with cutting-edge applications, superior networking services, and quality customer support. For more information, visit us at www.cape.com or call us at 539-9500.
Cavosa Excavating is a family-owned and operated company specializing in the installation of Title V septic systems. Cavosa Excavating is one of the largest septic system installers on Cape Cod. Whether it's upgrading your current system or installing a whole new system, Cavosa Excavating can do the job. Cavosa Excavating, 508-563-5530.
The Nimrod, a restaurant steeped in history and tradition, is located on Dillingham Avenue. Their phone number is 508-540-4132. They offer an extensive lunch and dinner menu for all your tastes and spirits for any occasion. The Nimrod features music to suit all moods in a warm atmosphere. The Nimrod is a proud sponsor of Falmouth Community Television and their coverage of town meeting. Stop by and visit us at the Nimrod Restaurant.
Additional funding and support provided by the following corporate sponsors. Ken Legase Painting, a full-service painting contractor. Interior and exterior painting, residential and commercial, wallpaper removal and installation. Fully insured and licensed. Free in-house estimates. 508-951-3612. Leah McGuire's Irish Pub, Main Street, downtown Falmouth. What an Irish pub should be. Sláinte.
Hi, this is Robert Pino of Mortgage Security, located right here in the town of Falmouth for 21 years. We're a direct lender, a mortgage banker. You make your payments locally. And we've got a great staff, a courteous staff, and a very friendly staff.
Bayside Kitchen and Bath on Main Street in Falmouth, where design and installation professionals work closely with homeowners, architects, and builders. Offering a full range of cabinetry, flooring, faucets, and green alternatives, Bayside Kitchen and Bath, returning you to beautiful spaces.
Eastman's has been Falmouth's hardware store since 1913. Today, we offer a paint department, over 30,000 fasteners in stock, and a friendly staff to assist with all your hardware needs. 508-548-0407.
Beata Nurses provides home health care for you or your loved one. Whether you need homemaking, home health aid, or skilled visit services, from 1 hour to 24-hour care, Beata Nurses provides a safe home life with comfort, independence, and dignity. 508-540-0071.
Wild Harbor General Store, located in historic North Falmouth Village, providing quality goods and services for 170 years. Continuing to make history with our support of FCTV's coverage of Falmouth Town Meeting.
Carpet Barn, Carpet One Home Showcase, a local family-owned business offering all your premier carpet and flooring needs. They also feature tile and vinyl floors, area rugs, window treatments, and kitchen and bathroom cabinetry, serving you at 4 convenient locations.
Bringing you the news through the years, The Enterprise. Their subscription information line is 508-299-8379, and you can visit them on the web at www.capenews.net. Cavosa Disposal is proud to provide trash removal services to local businesses in Falmouth. Cavosa Disposal would like to thank its customers in Falmouth. Cavosa Disposal, 563-5070.
FCTV is also supported by the following businesses and organizations. The Bank of Cape Cod. Coming soon to 445 Main Street in Falmouth. bankofcapecod.com. The Wood Lumber Company at 81 Locust Street. Their number is 508-548-3154. Neighborhood Falmouth at 508-564-7543 or neighborhoodfalmouth.org. Green Shuttle of Cape Cod, 866-934-6476 or gogreenshuttle.com. Foley Real Estate at 703 Main Street in Falmouth. Their number is 508-548-3415. The M.R. Soares Company Flower Garden Nursery at 1021 Sandwich Road in Hatchville. Their number is 548-5288. Danny's Barbershop at 18 Davisville Road in East Falmouth. You can call them at 508-548-6013. Eight Cousins Bookstore at 189 Main Street in downtown Falmouth. Their number is 548-5548. Paul's Precision Automotive Repair at 464 Main Street, 548-3164. David Rogers Electrician, residential, commercial, industrial, at 508-564-7507. Murray and McDonald Insurance Services, with 2 locations at 406 Jones Road in Falmouth and 550 MacArthur Boulevard in Bourne. B. Grant Willis, Attorney at Law, 197 Palmer Ave. Their number is 548-8386. Falmouth Fish Market at 157 T-Ticket Highway in Falmouth. Hamilton Tree at 508-563-7633 or www.hamtreeandland.com. The Law Office of Oppenheim and Nickerson at 156 Locust Street. The number is 548-8255. Davy Tree and Lawn at 996 East Falmouth Highway. Their number is 548-2662. Andy's Barbershop in the Falmouth Plaza. Arthur D. Calfee Insurance at 121 County Road in North Falmouth and 336 Gifford Street in Falmouth. Chapman, Cole & Gleason. Their number is 540-4172. Hanush Jewelers, now in their new location at 352 Main Street in downtown Falmouth, 548-9107. Mahoney's Garden Center at Route 28 in East Falmouth. The number is 548-4842. Vincent & Associates Real Estate at 159 Main Street in Town Hall Square. 548-6500, VincentAssociates.com. The Cape Cod 5 at 763 Main Street. Their number is 508-457-5252. Cape Cod Cleaning. Their number is 508-563-7622. And Steve's Pizzeria and More at 374 Main Street in downtown Falmouth. 457-9454 or 457-9636.